Sometimes when you are very deeply embedded in a subject and you've become a flipping nerd for that subject, you don't see the wood for the trees. And it's one of the things that I need to sort out with this channel, with the project, with the website, is my approach is semi-solipsistic. I just assume that people know what I'm talking about. I assume that they know a certain level of stuff and even the angle at which I'm coming at it. And well-meaning people, nice people, have told me several times that I need to sort it out because it's a mess. And this has been one of the conversations I've had with Pierre recently, which is like, you know, you've got to be adult about this stuff, and you've got to sort of take it from the point of view of the people who are consuming it, because if we're not, we're going to miss people. And so then people who would have benefited now won't, because the message is too confusing, or it's too, like, it's got too many technical words in it, or it's, you know, whatever. One of these, so I'm stepping back a lot at the moment. I'm like, how would this look to somebody who just rolled out of bed this morning, drank a coffee, read the front page of the paper, and then they see this, or they see this video, or they see the website? How's that look? And I'm like, oh shit. Emotional literacy, one of these things, I keep going on about it, and I'm like, why? I understand people being resistant to healing. We know the inner critic, superego, perfectionism, it doesn't want you to heal, it wants to hold you back. But I'm like, even so, this is like, wow, this is strong. Because I'm going, this thing that I'm holding right here, it's not a tasty pill. The first few times you take it, it's going to get stuck in your throat, it's uncomfortable, but then you're fine. People don't want it, they don't want it. And I was like, why? And it's like cooking in my head, this question, like, why? And I was like, I've got it. I was stuck in a traffic jam in Ibiza. There, one of the roads, they're doing roadworks. I was stuck, so I couldn't do anything. I just had to sit there and think. When I ask you to do an emotional literacy exercise, I am not asking you, number one, I'm not asking you to re-experience all of the horror. I'm not asking you to re-experience the bad things in your life. I'm not asking you to do that. Nor am I asking you to feel bad. If you felt depressed today, if you felt sad yesterday, if you've been battling feelings of jealousy, envy, rage, whatever the so-called negative emotion is that makes you feel bad, when you do the emotional literacy exercise, I'm not asking you to relive it. But I've not stated that clearly, and I think people have got the impression that that's just what it is, because we come to the table not with an empty cup. Nobody does. We have language, we have history, we have culture, we have politics, we have all that stuff. And I think people have come with this like quid pro quo ideology. If I'm going to heal, it needs to hurt. If I'm going to heal, there needs to be a trade-off. And I'm like, well, so people said to me, is the emotional literacy fun or is it hard? And I'm like, it's not. At first, it's not fun, but it's not that bad. And then people are going, oh, I really don't want to do it. Or, you know, I'm not ready to get into that yet, but I'll do it next month when I have some time. And I'm like, what do you mean when you have some time? It takes 15 minutes a day. What do you think is going to happen to you? I'm not asking you to go back into every feeling and re-experience it. I'm asking you to acknowledge the feeling. I'm not asking you to feel bad. I'm asking you to acknowledge the emotions. You don't need to re-experience them. I've never been, though I should say it more because people might just think it because they have an idea of what therapy is. They have an idea of what coaching is or what healing is. Like, oh, in order to get the demons out, you must scream and cry and the priest will slap you and the priestess will beat you with sage. I don't know. I don't know. You know, it's kind of funny, but at the same time, it's not funny if that's what people really think is going to happen. And I never said that it would be that, but I didn't say that it wouldn't be that. You only need to acknowledge the emotions and name them. That's it. Now, here's another level to it. You might hear that and go, it can't be that. I've been acknowledging my emotions for years. I've been acknowledging the fact that I feel like shit for years. Everybody's sick of hearing about it. My therapist's sick of hearing about it. My mum's sick of it. Dudes, I'm not saying what you think I'm saying. I'm saying something really that should be revolutionary. In fact, let's be grandiose. I'm saying something revolutionary. I'm claiming that when you sit down with a pen and a piece of paper, we can't do the app. I can do an app that helps you, and I'm going to use my Instagram as an app for emotional literacy. I'll explain this in the weeks that come. You're going to go onto it and you're going to have a wheel there, and then you're going to press buttons within the app and it's going to tell you what to do when you hit certain parts of the color wheel. But you must use a pen and a pad. You must write it yourself. My outrageous claim is that if you're over my shoulder and we go, what name and emotion that you felt about your divorce? It doesn't need to be today. It could be an experience from 10 years ago, but just name it. Please, just name the emotion. Just please, just give me an adjective that describes emotion. I'm making a crazy claim, lunatic claim, that when you go sad, I felt sad. Did you write it down? I did, I wrote it down. What word did you write down? I wrote the word sad. What was the emotion behind the sadness? I don't know. But if you did know, what would you write? Disappointed. Did you write the word disappointed? I wrote the word disappointed. Okay. What else is the emotion behind this word? It made me feel lonely. I felt really, really fucking on my own. I felt really lonely. Did you write the word lonely? I wrote the word lonely. Divorce, 10 years ago. We use this example. Divorce 10 years ago. Date 2009. I divorced Mike 10 years ago. Divorce, write it down. Divorce Mike 2009. How did you feel about Divorce Mike 2009? Don't think it. Write the fucker with your hand and a pen. Sad. How do you feel about that? Sad. I play this game with my nephew. We say words. I'll go, say the word sad, and he'll go Nasu, and I'll go, no, sad Nasu. Okay, that's good enough. He just has his own whole vocabulary. But you write it down, and then as you write it down, you draw a circle around it. Sad, disappointed, lonely, and you draw a circle around all of them. And I'm claiming that you doing that again and again and again over days that build into weeks, that build into months, heals you. That's my claim. Not that you like, okay, now feel sad. Now come on, more sad. Let's feel sad. Make it, come on, no. You got to get sad. I'm not saying that. It's not necessary. The re-experiencing of the trauma is not necessary. The re-feeling of the feelings is not necessary. You know what this does? It acknowledges you. Which is what? It's the opposite of abandoning you. Who is acknowledging you? Who? Whom? And whom is here to do the acknowledging? You. You're acknowledging you. You acknowledge you. How did you feel when you divorced Mike? He was a dick, but he had beautiful hands. We hated him, but also he smelled nice. Whatever, man. Whatever it is, whatever the incident is, you felt sad. Write it down. Because when you've written it down, like a kid, right? We're like a little 4-year-old, we're drawing. We're drawing, we're writing. You're just saying this happened. And there's now a visual record of it. Like a little magic spell or a prayer you've written. That's all. That's my claim. You acknowledge, which is the opposite of abandon, and you do to you. You show yourself. That's the magic. I'm not trying, this is my second point. I'm not trying to bully you. This is a worse one for the girls than for the boys. I figured this out in my fucking traffic jam. Oh, I had quite a figuring out session. I was very pleased with myself. I said to myself, now, why do women particularly hate this? Why do they hate this and then they get like, they start attacking me? How do teenage, boys do this as well, but how do teenage girls bully other teenage girls? They make them feel bad. They make them feel bad. They don't hit them. They put bad feelings into them. So number one, Spartacan life coach is trying to make me feel bad. No, he isn't. He's just trying to get you to acknowledge bad feelings that you've already got. The word is acknowledge. Now, it's written in the course, but it's not hammered like I'm hammering it now. It's not hammered. It just says acknowledge. That's the first, remember? That's step one. It's in several courses now, in fact. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Expand. Explore. Acknowledge. Expand. Explore. Acknowledge. I felt sad. And then I expanded the emotion by saying, it made me feel disappointed. It made me feel lonely. I felt abandoned by my friends after the divorce. It's like a ton of people I was friends with suddenly didn't want to be friends with. I felt abandoned. I felt disappointed. I felt lonely. I felt abandoned. This is the acknowledge. This is the core emotion. We expand it out. Expand out. We explode it out. It's here and we groosh out. Because it's not to be diminutized. Here's another word. Somebody brought this up on Instagram the other day. Should talk more about diminutization as a means of abuse. I was on somebody else's profile and it was like a meme they wrote about diminutizing. And I went, you're fucking right. Nobody's talking about that. We should talk about that. Diminutization is a form of abuse. Very important. I'll do a video on it. But for now, you're diminutizing. You're doing it. You're carrying on the abuser's work. When you go, how do you feel? Well, I felt sad, but fucking don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. I just turned the light on with my ass. So if you were feeling sad, just know that that's my arse. I didn't mean to do it the first time, but now I'm just going with it. That's called a pattern interrupt. But that was genuinely just my arse doing it. Maybe my arse has compassion, but I don't. It's like, listen, this is a bit heavy now. Give them the old arse light. And then let it be a pattern interrupt. Also, I'm standing right where it did say sad, and now you don't feel sad because you're thinking about arse lights. What am I thinking about? Fuck, a pattern interrupted myself. So, you have come to think that this, I don't think anybody thought this consciously. I don't think a single person was like, oh, Richard Grannon's trying to bully me and make me feel bad. I think it's only ever been an unconscious response to the exercise, which is exercise feel bad, me not like feel bad. This man make me he want me do exercise. No, me not want. Fuck this guy. I'm not doing that shit. Okay, I get it. But it's not there for you to re-feel everything. It's not necessary. It's not necessary to go through the memories and relive it again. It's emotion. I released a video the other day on emotional processing. It's from back in 2016, before the emotional literacy course was developed. And there's a really good key component in it that I'd kind of forgotten, which is focus on the emotion, not the thought. That went into the course. So the course is like emotion, 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 emotion. Very little on story. Very, very little. Focus on the emotion, not the thought. Acknowledge the emotion. Don't worry about the story. Don't worry about the thoughts behind the emotion. Just give acknowledgement to the emotion. How did it make you feel? And when that idea, the response of intellectualization, verbalizing, opinionizing, I don't think that Mary should have said what she said when I divorced Mike and she fucking got stuck in And my father-in-law, he was, yeah. How did you feel? Sad. Okay, dude. Sad. That's how you felt. Sad. That's okay. What do we do in the emotional literacy exercise? We acknowledge, we expand, and then if you get through it, it gets to the point where you say, I feel really sad about this, and that's okay. That experience made me feel really fucking lonely, and that's okay. That whole process made me feel, what did I say before? Disappointed. I had a dream of my life with Mike. I'm really into Mike. I don't know. I need to do some work on this because I'm not over Mike. His beautiful hands of imaginary Mike. I hope none of you divorced anybody called Mike in 2009 because this is going to be a nightmare. He doesn't exist. He's my imaginary ex-husband, and I've never been married. But if I did marry a man called Mike, he would have beautiful hands. So, I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I'm trying to get you to acknowledge how you feel, which is the opposite of abandoning how you feel. Because the environment in which you were raised, there's another thing I need to be talking about. Even if the home environment was non-abusive, the culture you're in is abusive. The culture you're in is dismissive. The culture you're in diminutizes. It's a traumatic culture. It's a trauma bonding culture. So you might have had great parents. You might have had a great family life, but you were raised in some dog shit that wouldn't let you do this, that encouraged you not to do this, that encouraged you not to acknowledge. If you were raised in an abusive household, sucks, because there's an extra layer to it, which is your mother or your father, when you felt sad, when you felt angry, when you felt whatever, if it wasn't convenient for them that you felt that way, they would just abandon you, and they would encourage you to abandon the emotion. So you created a neural pathway between feeling the feel and being abandoned by your parents, feeling the feel and being judged by your parents, feeling the feel and being punished by your parents. What for feeling? Because if you're raised by highly narcissistic parents, it's not convenient for you to have feelings. And then what do people say in adulthood? God, who said this to me? Oh, well, Pierre said this to me about being in a relationship with somebody, and whenever he had a feeling, she would attack him for it. She'd get really, really angry when he had or expressed an emotion because it frightened her. It made her feel like she was losing control. It made her feel like he was individuating, finding his serenity and walking away. Wait a second, Richard. You said this would make me feel better. Are you layering more lunatic claims on this stupid process that a 5-year-old can do? Yes. This is the key to your serenity. This is the key to emotional freedom. This is the key to all the boundary issues that you've been struggling with, the self-assertiveness issues you've been struggling with, the foggy head, the indecisiveness, the self-judgment, the self-loathing, the bad habits. This exercise that I don't think a 5-year-old could do it because you're talking emotions, but young people could do it. They could do the primary emotions. Somebody who's 12 years old knows the difference between anger, jealousy, sadness. You know, by the time you're 12, you'd get it. This exercise, I'm claiming, should revolutionize your healing process. The Stop Emotional Flashbacks course is a technique. It's a pattern interrupt. It's a bind over. It can only work so long for so many. And for some people, it's a total cure. But for other people, it's not. Because they're so constipated emotionally that it can't really, it'll only work on the days that they do it 5 to 10 times a day, and then as soon as they stop, it goes away. This grows you. The emotional flashback course is a technique. It can't grow you. It's not designed for that. This grows you. You change. This is the psychedelic option. This is, what do you think of fucking MDMA and ayahuasca? What do you think of this fucking technique where you stand on one leg and you drink bear's piss by the moonlight? Yeah, sounds fucking wicked. How about we just learn to acknowledge the fact that we have feelings and you just identify what they are. You expand them a little bit. You explore them a little bit. and then you tell yourself, you acknowledge. If you walk away with one thing, walk away with the word acknowledge. Expand, if you can remember it, explore, and then you say, you validate. You say, it's okay. It's okay. I felt fucking white hot rage. That's all right. That's all right. Like anybody in that situation would feel white hot rage. I felt, name it. What's the ugliest thing that you can feel that you hate thinking about feeling, but that you felt? There's going to be a reason for it. It's not for nothing. But sitting in self-judgment and self-criticism isn't going to help us very much, is it? So I'm not trying to make you feel bad, and I'm not trying to bully you. Nobody really thought I was trying to bully them. I know that. But I think some people were flashbacking and going, hey, this guy's trying to make me feel bad, which is the technique of, I go right ahead, and I've worked in schools for 5 years. It's a female to female bullying tactic. Sometimes guys do it too, but I've had way more resistance from women. You only need to acknowledge it. It's as simple as that. Please trust me, please believe me. You don't have to tear your own fingernails out. It's not an exorcism. Your head's not going to fucking spin around and you vomit on the ceiling. It's just not necessary. It's an engine, right? Let me mansplain this shit to you. It's an engine. Your system, the system that you are, your personality, your emotions, your brain, your physiology, your hormones, it's all interacting. It's this highly intelligent, highly evolved system, but it does have faults in it. It's not perfect. Evolution isn't linear, right? It has faults in it. These are some of the faults. You feel bad. You need to feel bad, but you don't want to feel bad. Wait, hang on a second. So that in the moment, that feeling bad got rejected. In the moment of the occurrence. You don't now need to feel bad after the fact. The only thing, and I don't call this feeling bad, the only thing that is necessary after the moment is, and Pete Walker said this very beautifully in the Tao of Fully Feeling, grieving. Grieving. Can I gently lead you to grieving here? Grieving's not a joyous feeling. You're not going to be skipping down the fucking driveway doing cartwheels, going blah, 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 blah. But it's not torture. It's not like, oh my God, when does this stop? I can't. It's you're grounded when you grieve, and your depth perception changes. And I'm not even bother to explain that, because anybody who's done any kind of grieving knows exactly what that means. Your depth perception changes when you grieve, when you're in the process of grieving. It's okay. All of it is okay. Really simple. No drama, no screaming, no vomit. Doesn't hurt. And it works in a way that means you heal rapidly, as fast. I don't think there's another way of doing it. And you won't go back. You won't backslide, because you can't. 30 days. Just what I said. Don't buy the course. Don't buy it. Just do what I just said. But you must write it on a pen. Write it on a pen. That's Zen, isn't it? Paper it on a piece of paper and write it on a pen. Write it down on a piece of paper with a pen in your hand. I don't know, 2-3 emotions. Expanded by another 2-3 emotions. Acknowledge, explore, and then just say, that's okay. About this subject, Mike 2009, or incident at Denny's, I don't know, whatever the hell it is, today, I felt this and this and this. And you know what else? Now that we're here, I also felt this, this and this. And if you have a list of 30 things, that's fine. And if you can't get more than 2 or 3 things, that's fine. You're sat there waiting. You are sat there waiting for you to say how you felt. And all you do is you say, how did you feel? Here's a color wheel of emotions. How did you feel? How did this make you feel? What was the emotion? And there's not, you're not to fill in that's not part of the emotional issue. I fill in the space with like, by the way, I think, blah, 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 and also da, da, da. So no, there's only space here for adjectives, describing words, for emotions, for emotional states, nothing else. And it's as simple as that. hopefully I conveyed that in a way that was convincing. Hopefully we'll have people doing this now. Do it. You've got to pick up a pen and a piece of paper and do it. You can't just watch videos. I can't do it for you. And if you do it, you will get results, and they'll be rapid. And after 30 days, you won't recognize you anymore. People who have done this, who've been through the emotional literacy course and seen the change in their own lives, if you're still bothering to watch these videos, which most people won't, but if you've had that kind of experience, please tell people in the comments. Don't buy the course. This is not a sales pitch for a course. This is a sales pitch for you to do shit that makes your life work better. Please start now. Just get a pen and piece of paper. The way I just described it. Maybe on day 1 you just do 1 emotion, or on day 2 you do like a progressive overload strength training thing. On day 2 we'll do 2 emotions, and on day 3 we'll do 3, and on day 4, depending on how we feel, we'll move forward like that. You don't need to re-experience trauma. You don't need to re-feel everything that was already felt in the past. It's a good idea if you can develop your emotional literacy when an emotion comes up in the present. If your emotional flashbacks are sorted, if your emotional literacy is okay, the way the system should work is that you feel it now. When it happens, now is the time to feel it. In the present moment, here and now is the time for feeling, not pushed away and brought back, and that's not really going to work. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that was helpful. And you know what? I did say I'd take questions. I'm going to take 4 questions, and then I'm going to wrap. I'm going to go to sleep. Now is the time. St. Crane says the course is great. Thank you, St. Crane. Thank you. I am going to be... I'm intrigued to nose at one of your courses, Mr. G. The emotional literacy is a good one. Heal the Superego, I'm very, very happy with, and very, very confident recommending Heal the Superego to everyone. Not all my courses apply to everybody, but if it's CPTSD, if it's overcoming narcissistic abuse, the Heal the Superego one is good, and it has elements of emotional literacy in it as well, like a light version that anybody can get hold of. So the other thing that we're going to be doing here on the channel is I'd like to do a month of getting people into self-interested action, just causing them to put themselves first unconsciously and naturally and feel good about doing it. But maybe at the same time we could I just said I can't do it for you, but maybe if there's like a 7-minute video that guides you through it that you know you're going to do every day, and I make it easy, then maybe we can do something like that that would help as well. Bliss said, Richie, I tried to sign up and it won't work. What's the issue that you're getting? And can you please relate it with screenshots and as much detail as possible, including what browser you're using, to helpdesk@spartanlifecoach.info. I've started doing this verbally. I can't wait to start tomorrow with pen and paper. Verbally is great. Look, I mean, if you're driving or it's just not convenient right now to do it, my God, to just say it out loud, just be present with yourself and just go, like, what just happened? That made me feel really angry, or that made me feel really sad, or that really scared the shit out of me, whatever it is, and you say it out loud. Acknowledge, and verbally, if you're just doing it verbally, say, it's okay. I felt really scared. It's okay, anybody would have felt scared in that situation. I felt really angry. Okay, what's the purpose of anger? It's a protective, defensive emotion. What am I trying to protect against? How can I make myself feel more protected so that I don't need to feel animal anger in terms of my protection? But writing it down is just magic. That's where the magic happens, and it needs to be with your own pen, hand, piece of paper. My emotional compass is broken. How do I know emotions are real and appropriate? Well, there's an exercise that you can do that will help you to get there, called the emotional literacy exercise. That's what I recommend you doing. Healing from smoking. I was a smoker. This is a long time ago, but I was trained in neuro-linguistic programming, and the first thing, and I was very into Zen and psychotherapy, the Thich Nhat Hanh teachings with Zen and psychotherapy, and I was like, what's the core feeling I'm feeling in my body right before I light a cigarette? what do I want? What is it? What's going on for me physically? When I smoke, what do I want? What am I experiencing? What do I get from smoking? What am I not getting in life that's causing me to smoke? Miss Kismet says, ends up in a better treatment of everyone as a result. The true definition of the philosophy, look after number one, which far from meaning to do it as easy, comfortable, safe, or done now, is this. Yeah, I mean, if you really are engaging in self-interested action and you're acknowledging your emotions, one of the first things that happens is you just have so much more space for other people, so much more time, and having that space and being able to hold that space for people sometimes it's the best thing you can do. I was talking on another video about meditation, and in terms of having just referenced Thich Nhat Hanh and the psychotherapy works that he was doing for a while, the active mind, the yang mind is good. We need it. Solves problems, it analyzes, it designates, it judges, it goes, okay, this goes here, this goes there. But yin mind is good too. And yin mind just accepts. It just goes, here's the bowl of yin, and here's the experience. There we go. What are you doing? I'm holding an experience in my yin bowl of my hands. And that's all that's required. And you might think, that's a little bit too simple. How's that going to create healing? Well, when I'm yin with somebody who's in pain or frustrated or sad, I'm seeing them, I'm hearing them, my attention is on them, and that in and of itself, with no words, no analysis, no suggestion, no coaching, no life coaching, no problem solving, no like, oh, here's the solution, did you try this, have you tried a keto diet, because that's supposed to be none of that. You just go and you look and you listen, and they tell you what they have to say. And you're just there. And they feel it, because you're not faking it. You're there, you're listening. And you don't offer anything. It's such a gift. You don't offer a solution. You don't say anything. Solution offering all the time can be really boundary breaking. You know, have you thought about doing this? Have you thought about doing that? It's like, all right, Dad, maybe I just wanted somebody to just listen to me for a second. So you just sit and you listen and you acknowledge. And that's kind of the interpersonal version of the intrapersonal exercise that we just did. I'm acknowledging you, and in the space I'm offering you, my yin bowl, you can expand. You can tell me more or not, depending on how you feel. We can explore. It's really for you to explore, but I'm the sounding board that holds it, so you explore it. And maybe without having to say it, you can tell by my emotional reactions or my unflinching presence that I'm telling you it's okay. All of this is okay. All of this is okay. How you feel is okay. How you felt then is okay. What you want now is okay. What you wanted then is okay. It's all okay. You're not wrong. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong here. It's okay. It's a style, it's a way of doing things, it's a way of handling things. I've found that it works well with people. Why don't you give it a go? Some people who watch me are parents, and they say, can you give advice? And I go, don't take advice from parenting from a man-child, but that's something that I think probably would work well, is to listen, to sit and listen and acknowledge, and just let them feel like it's okay. What you're feeling is okay. What you want is okay. Who you are is okay. It's all good. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time and for your attention. And I look forward to speaking to you again soon. Cheers.